Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Color Clash, I'm going to assume, is a children's game. Maybe it's not. You know, really, you could play this with adults too. Although there are so many games on the market, I don't know why you would play this one. It's one of those games where they give you some like components. They're just bizarre. And then they give you like 8 games to play with it. And you choose which one you like and which one you don't. And these kind of things drive me crazy. Design a game and I'll play it. I don't need you to give me 8 options on how to play a game. And what was the game? 504? They gave me 504 options to play a game. Hard pass. Now, if you're a budget gamer, which I know some of you are, then it's great to have 8 different games in the box. That's going to be appealing to you. I can pay $20 for this game. I get 8 different games in it. It's very appealing. But then I always wonder, are any of those games any good? So let's talk about Color Clash. Not really. It's okay. And I think the more you like this sort of game, the more you're going to enjoy Color Clash. And I really sort of don't. So it's an abstract game about matching up colors, but like the color will say red, but it's blue. It kind of tricks with your mind. If you ever played the game Set, which is a Mensa game, it's very popular, at least it was, then this is going to be very similar to it. It's almost like taking Set and switching it up a little bit, depending on which game you play. And there's different things, but the whole concept of the game is that the words are not going to match the color the word is, and there's a chameleon in the middle, and it's going to also be a different color. So it might say green, but it's written in yellow, and the chameleon is red, right? And that's just like a mind screw right off the bat. Now add 3 or 4 of those tiles, all saying different numbers, different colors, and it's meant to screw with you. Then you have to kind of slow things down in your mind and match things up. I think all the games are fine. If this sounds appealing, if this sounds like something you would like, then I think you're going to enjoy this. Everybody else is going to be like, what are you talking about? It's hardly a game at times. Although they do pretty well at some of these games of making sure the components can work in that regard. Components are nice. They're very thick. For me, it's a Purge. I don't want to play anything like this. Not very good. Here's Color Clash. Make the match, mind the clash. So this is a 1 to 8 player game. You can see it's very attractive with the colors and the chameleons on the front. I have a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. You can definitely see there isn't a whole lot of components in here, and this is much bigger than it needs to be. You're going to have these little player ones here that you'll have on the board. These are very nice touch to them, and very, very thick. But it's yellow. What else would you expect? You have a number of these guys here that you'll have. You can see just a ton of these in here that you'll be able to play with. Very thick, but the components are very simple. Here's a rulebook for Color Clash. It is a very thick rulebook, you can see here. You're going to have an explanation of the tiles here and what they are, which is great. And then you're going to have some different games that you're going to have in here. So this is one of those things where it's, what's the real game? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them. There's 5, 6 games in here. So you can play any of these, 7, 8 that you can go through. And I think each one is pretty good. I'll go through and I flow the game and tell you which ones I like better. But for the most part, this is just where they sold you a whole bunch of components and there's a whole bunch of games that go with it. This is the first game called Guess What I'm Thinking. It's very easy. One player will pick a tile. It has 3 colors on it. So blue, orange, yellow. And everybody else, there could be multiple tiles, will look for the one that does that. When you think you have it right, you put your finger on it and everybody will check. It's blue, the writing, it says orange, and it's yellow. So this is correct, and that would score a point for me. If I was wrong, I'm out, and everybody would keep going. You continue to do this, and there's 6 tiles remaining, and whoever scored the most tiles would be the winner. So what's going to happen is you're going to flip these over, but you want to do it where everybody else sees it before you. Then the next person would flip one over. And when you see an attribute that's been used 4 or more times, then you would kind of activate it. So in this case, it says blue, he's blue, he's blue. So we're looking at 3 attributes that match in that regard. And here's another one. So then what you would do is you would grab this. The person who grabs it would then take all of the tiles that were utilized in that, and those would score for him. Then this would go back down, and he would continue to do that. The game ends once all of the tiles have been turned over. So the third game is called Antipode, and what you do in this one is you try to find tiles that match. And by matching, you would say something like this. So in this case, you would grab both these. You can only use one hand. So the yellow on this corresponds with the color here, and green corresponds here. Do you see that? Yellow is in green, and green is in yellow. That's a match. That would score me a point. The players check all your pairs. You score 1 point for each correct pair. Whoever scored the most points is your winner.
So the fourth game is called Family Spirit, and you're going to be able to pick this up, and this will tell you what you're looking for. So looking for anything that matches this. So the color would be in red. So like this is written in red. The chameleon is green. So this chameleon is also green. This says purple on it. So let's see. This also says purple on it. So these would all be matches that you're trying to get to this one right here. When everybody's done and agree that they're done looking, it will end. You'll grab a point for each one you were correct. Any mistakes is a negative point. Most points is your winner. So this is the fifth game called Take the Opportunity. It'll be set up like this. Everything face down except for these guys. Then each player will take one tile that will be placed face up in front of them. So what somebody will do on their turn is they'll flip one of these over. And if it has an attribute, let's say this one's on top of my deck, the orange, blue, yellow. And this has an attribute, it does. It's got a blue chameleon. Then it would go on top of my thing and I would grab it. And then somebody else, the next player would flip one over and see if it has anything in common with this, which it does, the red and the red. It would go. If it doesn't, then the person who flipped it over takes it, puts it on top, and puts whatever is on his bottom back out here face down. So that's what you're trying to do, is match these attributes up. Once they've all been turned over, whoever scored the most tiles is your winner. So this is called Game 6. It's a Western. It plays like a duel. So you will choose somebody, like say this person over here, and we will both flip a tile at the same time. Whichever tile has the most on it, so this has one green and a blue, and it says green, and it says red, and that's orange, and it is red. So you could grab, like, say, the green, and he would say there's more green. It's a tie, but because it's a tie, you could grab either one. So let's do another one. So if you were the duel here, and this person grabbed this one, green, blue, purple, orange, yellow, purple, it seems like maybe purple is the most. So you would try to grab this one. And if you grab it, then you would score for those. The game is over when everything is face up. Whoever has the most tiles is the winner.
Who should buy this game? Maybe you'd want to play this with your kids. It's one of those things where, like, if you look at it, you know if it's for you or not. So at the flow of the game, you were like, man, that is for me. I like this sort of puzzle, or I like this sort of activity that I'm doing, then I think you'll enjoy this. For anyone else, you can skip it. For me, it's going to be a Purge.